I was doing, you know.
You mentioned something to me before off camera, and I was just wondering if you could speak on this just a little bit.
Yeah.
About signing deals. You had a unique situation.
Right.
You were initially signed to a production company.
Yeah.
Called
Jack Move Productions.
Hold on. Can you explain? But then you end up taking on the responsibility of the production company. So the record label was dealing directly with you.
Correct.
And how that made a difference in your career. Can you explain a little bit about how that worked?
Well, I mean, you have to read your contracts, and you have to understand the nature of the business, and you know, they'll give you enough rope to either pull yourself up or hang yourself. So what I was able to do was, you know, take that production deal that was given to me, that, you know, they defaulted. The people who had the production deal defaulted.
So the people that you had the deal with,
right,
they defaulted.
Yeah, they did something that had them exit from the deal.
So now that production company is no longer in the picture.
Correct, but they didn't change the paperwork.
So now the label is what?
The label is now dealing directly with me.
Ooh, how was that? How were you able to, like, how to working directly with the label? So now there's no middleman.
Right, but I still had the same rights as the production company. They wanted to change it to an artist deal, but I didn't want that, because in a production deal, you get to control the budget, you get to, you know, you get to go and decide exactly where and when the money is spent. So it's a whole different thing. They have to give you the entire budget, not just in advance. It's a lot to it. At the time, how those deals were structured.
Wow. So you basically were your own boss.
Correct. At a very young age. Now, did I do everything correctly?
But you learned that experience, right?
Yeah, but I did a lot of things right. I did more things right than I did wrong, and that's why I was able to continue to. And it was a fight from album 1 until now. You know, it's still a fight.
Yeah.
There's always something to learn, and there's always something to gain experience from. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way I never take the shit personal.
Wow.
You know, it's called the music business.
Yeah.
You know, we sometimes get caught up. When I say we, I mean people that are, you know, not coming from the business side, but coming from the creative side. We sometimes lose ourselves in the creative process, but we also have to understand the business and find a balance. Yes. Because you can't have one more than the other, but you have to be good at both. Right?
Facts.
And so it's called the music business for a reason. You know, you're not here to just get props. You can't feed your family with props.
Facts.
So you have to understand the back end of the business as well as the creative side. Facts. And you know, I took the long way around in that arena. Wow. But I got a lot of experience. I got a lot of, you know-how, and I know what I will and won't do again. And that's why it feels good to be able to create now. Because
at your leisure, whenever you want to.
Correct. Man, I'm able to, you know, put myself into a safer place where I feel confident about what I'm creating, and I feel confident about the direction it's going, and who's going to actually be involved in this with me.
One of the things, no, that's incredible, man. I think that's something as an artist, we all want to aspire to do. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want. You want to be able to, because like you said, you didn't do everything right, but those experiences allowed you to grow in other aspects as a businessman, as an artist.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've heard you talk about before, and we talked about it around that time. So you had those couple albums. You started off with Loud. You were handling it yourself, but then at one point in time, Dr. Dre came in the picture.
That was album number 3.
That was album number 3. Yeah. How did that affect your creative side and as well as like your business side? Like, because I know that's got to be profound, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it hit on both you know, levels. It was the business side became astronomical. It became, you know, I was on Up in Smoke. I, you know, put out a platinum record. You know, I was very visible. Yeah. But creatively, I learned a lot about myself because when you go into Dr. Dre's studio, there's a plaque that was on the door. It said, "Your ego is not your amigo," and it was very it was very dope to be able to sit in the studio and see the greats work, how they work, and then be considered, you know, part of that team, that they respected my work as much as I respected theirs. And you know, it was like a dream come true, because, you know, I was pushed.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had a sound. I felt like I knew what I was supposed to sound like. But, you know, once you expand your horizon creatively in that environment, you can only get better.
Wow.
So
you have like someone who I consider to be the greatest producer, or greatest hip hop producer of all time.
Absolutely.
To have him basically help you and guide you and kind of say, look, I've been down this road. Obviously, he's one of the best, if not the best ever. To have that, I mean, I could just, from somebody who watched you from the Wake Up Show days to the Up and Smoke and beyond, to see that, you know what I mean? Yeah. To see that growth, it was just like amazing to see. You know what I mean? It was amazing to watch. So then you have all that success. You go on to, how'd you get into acting? How'd you get into Hollywood? How'd you get into that side, man? Like, people don't understand, like, this guy is known for so many different things. Yeah. How did that come about? Because you're a dope actor, man. You're a great actor.
Man. Thank you. I'm just trying to think of the steps. So after I did Pimp My Ride, I had a very